if you're in a sexless marriage and you're tired of talking about the situation and seeing nothing changing, or at least you've had the conversation and you seem to be having the conversation, you agree on how you're going to change, and then nothing ever changes, we're going to respond to a post from Reddit where this gentleman has been moving, to his words, moving his own goalpost and just really diving deeper into where things might be going wrong and what he can do in order to change this. So there's quite a lot of, he tries to give a lot of context, but I think it sort of muddies what he's trying to say. But I'm going to try and decipher what he's trying to say, or at least what he's not saying, in order to get a fix. And also by fixing his situation, you get some ideas of what you need to do within your relationship as well. So, without further ado, 37 here. I've been part of this community for a long while. Bedroom, it has dead dish for the past decade, so they've been together for over 10 years. That's crazy. So they've met when they're in their late 20s, it sounds like. My situation has been precarious because I've been the main sole earner within the same time period, doing most and all the housework. This guy looks like he's oversubscribing to this relationship. He's doing everything within this relationship, and that's not a good thing. I think most women in this day and age desire that a guy is able to go and make money, but he's also domesticated, and these two are very bad scenarios. And it's quite funny because there's a thing that I've been teaching lately, which is that whenever when within a relationship, there is tangibles and then there's intangibles. So what does that mean? So there's tangibles. These are the things that you do, like household chores, you going to work. These are tangible things that you have to do in order to function as a system. So you think of a marriage system, that there's multiple things that you're, keeping the house clean, logistics for the children, you going to work, her going to work. So there's all these systems that are within this. There's all these systems within a system, and these tangible things that you have to do. Now there's other things like intangibles. So intangibles will be rest, will be motivation, it will be desire, aspirations, all these other things, the intangibles. So there's at times when if somebody decides to slack on the intangibles, or the tangibles, which is the system. So if my wife decided she's just going to sit around and do nothing, and then I take the bulk of the work, the intangibles start falling. So they decay. So for example, if my motivation is to make 200k per year, for example, and I'm on track because she's doing part of a system, or she's part of the system and she's contributing to that system, if she stops and I take on everything, my intangibles decrease. So instead of me going up to 200k, it becomes very, very difficult for me to be showing up at work feeling fresh, because I'm not resting. Remember, my intangibles have gone down, so I'm not resting. My aspirations are muddied because then I'm focused on these other situations. And if I'm resentful towards the fact that I'm doing everything, that again affects our relationship. So these feelings of the relationship being good and sex, all of that starts going away. These are the intangibles, so they start going away. So it is absolutely nuts when the other partner is not engaged. And again, I'm assuming this because maybe she's got some mental health issues, because this is generally most people's. I've got anxiety, so therefore I'm not going to do any work within the household. The other part about it, the flip side of it, is that when she's not prepared to do any housework or be part of the system, that in itself, it's a way had her self-confidence, or at least her self-esteem. So if she's already low with self-esteem and she's got anxiety and depression, it's going to further push her down within that anxiety and depression state, because she's not contributing to the system. So it becomes very important for this specific guy to actually say to her, I've come from work, I do expect you to have done X, Y, Z. And if you're not prepared to do so, this is not how this relationship is going to function, because there is intangibles. Like, for example, I was seeing a list the other day, a list of what this woman wanted. And I was thinking to myself, it was just ridiculous. He has to earn a lot. He has to be able to pay bills. He has to drive. And I mean, she did this list. by all means have a list if you want to have a list, but you have to be able to contribute to that list. And the my reaction was that if you want a six-figure earner, these guys are, you know, really hyper focused in what they do, and in order for them to earn really good money, they are obsessive about getting things right and working and being focused. So especially if he's trading time for money, like for example, um, for me in my relationship, I trade time for money. So therefore, there's going to be a ridiculous amount of hours that I have to work in order to make the money that we make. So she has to prepare. She has to have emotional intelligence to be able to the time periods when I'm out there working and making money. She's got the ability to be sustaining our system, you know. And if she's nowhere close to being able to sustain that system, then again, in this case, she's not able to sustain that. It really ruins his intangibles, which is why they're now in this sexless relationship, because intangibles are those feelings that you feel, like desire and so on. So anyways, before I go down this rabbit hole and not I think that was the main part about this post. It does go into a lot of more other details. So it talks about how some of her family are parasites, and I think he's making excuses for him. And because I was going to go through the whole thing, but I think the main part about this was about him taking on all the responsibility. It does go on to talk about that they've had the conversation, and I think I'm going to talk a little bit about that. That he said he's talked about it. They've talked about, and I don't know, it doesn't give us detail of what he talked about. I'm guessing in this case they talked about. In fact, let's read that part actually, and then we'll end it from there. So he says, about a month ago, we had a kind of a talk with my girlfriend. We both raised some things. Now they both raised some things. I'm guessing in this case she raised that she's got anxiety, some sort of mental health issue, stress that's preventing her to be an active member of the system and building onto the system, which is their household. I'm guessing, and I'm guessing she's probably said, you'll see in this post. I'll point that out. So you'll see what I think she said to him as well. I felt that I did my best to uphold my end of the bargain. So after the conversation, they've gone on to do what they're meant to be doing. He thinks that he's doing enough to facilitate what she's asked for. I supported her in every way I could fathom while being pleasant, not pissed off. So I'm guessing in this case, she probably raised the fact that he's always pissed off or he's always angry. And I'm guessing there's a lot of resentment from not having sex. That I think a lot of it will be that. And there's also resentment from the fact that his intangibles are going down. So when the intangibles go down, you have a sense of resentment to the relationship, the fact that you're not having sex. But also there's the fulfillment of life, basically. And I hate to be this deep on this video like this, but your fulfillment of life is dependent on these intangibles. If they're functioning correctly, you start deriving fulfillment in terms of the relationship, your other relationships with your family members, because your intangibles are at a high level. But when you are doing so much with the tangible stuff and it's eating away at those intangibles, you feel like you're running. It's a feeling of running on a treadmill, and like you're doing all this effort, but you don't seem like you're going anywhere, or you're not getting anything out of it, and that can be extremely frustrating. And you can see that this guy, that resentment of build up, where like, I've devoted my life to you, and the one thing where I feel most connected with you, which is through sex, we're not even doing that, and it's not consistent. So it's hard to then be functioning and really try to maintain the system to be running when you're not even an active member of this thing. And I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere in life, because you start questioning everything. And I'm saying this because I've been there too, and that's how I can articulate this, because I've lived that life before. So again, it becomes very important that in this case where he says they talked about it. I mean, it goes on to talk about family and how they mistreat and use her and so on, and she's always tired. And then they went on to some weekend getaway, and she was always tired. That's it. I think there's a separate episode, and that's him now going on something else that isn't, because I don't. In the end, there's no real question. There's no real. It's just highlighting it. I think this was more, like I said, I think it does say it's more of an event than it is a request for help. But I thought it was a fascinating post because of the fact that it talks about that he does everything. So I need to teach you guys about this intangibles. Now about tangibles and intangibles, and I would like to invite you guys to go to our school community. And our school community is a community where we actually help you to really start figuring this stuff out. And when you can figure this out, you can see that your relationship will not only your relationship will change, but your intangibles will start growing again. And the systems that you've built within your relationship, you can start taking care of them in the way that it's going to start perpetuating a very good outcome within your relationship. Not only is she going to be an active member within that system and be productive, but you guys, your relationship can actually grow. So, and this is why the community has been built, where we're getting men together to be on one mind and really getting to a place where we can change our relationships. Now, the most important part about being a part of a community is that I love Formula One, and one of the main driver right now that's winning most of the titles is a guy called Max Verstappen. And even though he's in the cockpit by himself driving, it's easy to think that, oh, he's just this amazing guy. But while he drives to the checkered flag, there's so many people that have been involved in creating that car and putting that car on the grid and putting him onto the podium. So my point being is that you are my Max Verstappen, and we are building a community where we're going to make you win. So, and again, if you want to be part of that, there's a link where it says school to reignited men, and it's going to take you to a page where I teach you a course and teach you what you're going to see on the inside. It's a paid community. It's pretty much less than a Starbucks coffee per day, but what you get from it is, right now, is we are just opened the doors. The first few people that will be joining, they'll have my time for Monday to Friday. You have 1 hour of my time, me speaking into your relationship. So it's custom made to you. So we're going to be doing this offer for quite some time until we get to a point where I can no longer do that with everybody. So I think the moment we get to 10 people, I will then stop doing the one-on-one calls. In fact, I'll be doing group calls at that point. So we'll shift from me speaking to you individually per day, and again, if you're having one-on-one counseling sessions, usually if you're having one session per week, it comes up to about at least $400 in some places, depending on where you live. But again, this is $47 per month, where you get my one-on-one attention for over 20 something days. So again, it's a no-brainer, like literally a no-brainer when it comes to this. And like I said, for us, the stuff that we teach has worked. 239 men that we helped last year in order to be empowered within their relationships. And you can see why that some of the stuff that we teach isn't what you see in the mainstream and what you see from other people. So if you want to win within your relationship, I am inviting you to join us within our community. So thank you very much. Be seeing you soon. Take care.